Escalating tensions with the U.S. over TikTok spy balloons and semiconductors. Rhonda Rockster reporting.
Today is a day the feds say shipments of toxic waste and tainted water will resume from East Palestine, Ohio, the site of a toxic train derailment. That material is to be sent to 2 disposal sites elsewhere in Ohio, one in Vickery and the other in East Liverpool. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. A wind advisory continues until 6 p.m. this evening. Scattered thunderstorms likely this afternoon, otherwise cloudy. Highs level off around 59, southwest winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Overcast tonight, lows level off around 38. 50 tomorrow, lots of sunshine. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Currently, it's 59.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Your own home without the maintenance. If you're 55 or better, a beautiful Liberty Village villa could be yours. This is Erin, and I invite you to come take a tour of our move-in ready villa. Click the Liberty Village icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Simply the finest.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Life is uncertain. Stop in and see me, State Farm Agent Jason France, on the west side of the Clinton Square, or click our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com and see how our full lineup of State Farm insurance and financial services.
I'm weatherology meteorologist Derek Height with a significant weather update. A tornado warning has been issued until 9:15 a.m. this morning for Champaign County. This warning is for a confirmed tornado on the ground. Stay tuned for additional updates. I'm meteorologist Derek Height.
Report on WHOW. You can now catch our daily review of the commodity markets at 5:06 on all of WHOW's many platforms. You'll still hear all of our commodity analysts and weather professionals each afternoon, but at a brand new time. And you'll still hear the weekly wrap-up of the commodity markets right here on WHOW when Commodity Week airs Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
It's no secret that employers are having a difficult time hiring qualified personnel, whether full or part-time. The Miller Media Group wants to help you, the employer, to find the candidates you're looking for. That's why we've created IllinoisJobPost.com. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. This website is part of a broad radio and internet employment campaign available through the Miller Media Group. Contact your account manager or email sales at randyradio.com for more information. IllinoisJobPost.com is where we put the power of radio and the internet to attract prospective candidates.
WHOW. Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. This morning, we welcome in Mr. Jim Peck, who is the principal of Clinton Junior High School. Good morning, Mr. Peck.
Hey, good morning, Seth. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. And Mrs. Haley Bevans is a 6th grade science teacher at Clinton Junior High. Good morning, Mrs. Bevans.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in and talking with us. And we are going to highlight today, guys, the Challenger experience at Heartland Community College. This is a special thing that your students do 5 years running, Mrs. Bevans. You mentioned that that's been going on. Tell us a little bit about this. What is this project? What's it all about? What do the students experience with this?
So at the Challenger Learning Center at Heartland College, what we do is we prep the kids quite a bit in advance, and it's always during our space unit. And a lot of times when they go, we talk first about the Challenger space shuttle incident in general in 1986, and how these families from that incident, where it was the first teacher that was supposed to be going into space, how those families decided with the catastrophe, like, you know what, we want to fund something. We want kids to continue an education with space. And so they created, like, there's about 40 of them across the United States of these learning centers. And basically it's simulations. And the kids get to go and experience a space mission, and they get to be a part of mission control, but then they also have their team members that are in a true space shuttle, and they're doing interactive things. And so kids really get the experience feeling like they're in space. And they get into the simulator, like when they have to fly back to Earth, and then they go back into space, and then they get to switch roles. So the kids get to be a part of that, and they're assigned different jobs. And we try to have kids try to choose jobs that interest them, whether it's something in biology or geology and robotics and engineering.
There's a place for geology in space.
Believe it or not.
Really? No kidding.
Trying to see if there was life on Mars was one of the missions.
Okay.
And
Wow. Interesting. Now, this is a 2-day event, right? Like, it's not like half the day they're spent in one part and then they switch over for 3 or 4 hours and they're in another part. This is a 2-day ordeal, correct?
It's a 2-day ordeal just because we can only take about 60 kids one day.
Oh,
and
okay.
so we take half of our 6th graders one day, and then the other half stay at school experiencing 5 different rotations that are all STEM related and space related.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So they, for example, one of them, they're using their iPads and they're coding, and it's like robotic battle bots is what they did this last time with Spheros. And so when they're here, we consider it a 2-day experience.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't realize that. So they're really experiencing all sorts of aspects of this operation then. With that said, what is the reaction from kids? Like, as you get into this unit, preparing them, where are their minds at when they go through it and they're home and you get that feedback? Talk about maybe the difference in that preparation piece and then after the experience.
I always give the kids a survey, and it's funny because and obviously the day back is like a whole day of debriefing, and making sure okay, we understood what just happened and what we went through. I pump it up a lot. It's a pretty big deal, and it's completely free. And it's free because of the grants and everything that we always write through Clinton Community Education Foundation. ADM has also given grants as well that we have written or whatnot. And so the kids are so pumped. They're like, it's a free thing. And they know that we're going to get to eat lunch out, because it's a big deal to go anywhere. And we always get really good feedback. And I actually it was a girl that was a past student of mine, and she goes, what I remember? She's like, the field trip. I'm like, if that's all you took away from 6th grade, I'll take it. Right.
Yeah. Because it's that big of a deal.
It is a really big deal. And especially it's a 2-day. That's unheard of. Get to do a back-to-back field trip. And so we're fortunate that admin and superintendent, everybody works with us to be able to pull that off. So
what are the students that don't get to go on a particular day? What are they doing back at Clinton Junior High School?
So they're doing the 5 rotations that are all STEM-like activities. So I always have an art one where they're drawing space things. We have the coding with the Spheros is another activity. They do an escape room. They have, I'm trying to remember the other one. There was art.
It's all right. If you come up with it, just throw it. No, it's all right. If you come up with it, throw it out there. That's okay. Now, with the experience itself, how involved is it? Is it you just like, are you watching? Are you actually participating in button pushing and communication? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, it's true. They're involved in all of it. And so when they're in the spacecraft, it's very hands-on. So there's one station, for example, where they actually have to put their hands inside these gloves, like they would have gloves on as an astronaut. And they're having to do the experiments with that. There's another station, it's a robotic arm, and they're testing different masses of different meteorites that they had found. And
oh, really?
And then there's a navigation team, and there's one group that's putting together either a rover or like a probe simulator. And a lot of them have the headsets, and so Mission Control is giving them the directions of that.
Oh, okay.
And so they're at Mission Control with a computer in front of them reading directions. So they have to do task cards.
Wow.
There's math involved, and so it's a true STEM experience with that.
Is it just your students there? Are they interacting with other students from other schools?
Just our students.
Okay.
So we book the entire place.
I see. That's a lot of fun then.
It is cool.
That is pretty cool. Now, I want to dive into the STEM piece you talked about, but were there any other aspects of the actual trip itself, the participation piece that you want to put out there maybe we haven't touched on yet? Go ahead, Mr. Peck.
I'd be happy to jump in. One thing that I really like about the trip is, you have all the science and the STEM stuff, but really they focus on teamwork and communication. Because if you have a group that's working towards this mission and they do a good job of like throwing obstacles at you, so there might be a weather disaster or an incoming space rock. If the team is not working together, it slows everything down. And I will say, there's been years that we've been there where a group didn't get all the way through the mission with the time that we had.
Oh, wow.
Because of the teamwork and communication. This year, the group that I went to, I think we got farther than I've ever seen in the 5 years that I've gone. So that's just a huge aspect of it, is it's not just going on this trip and, the STEM aspect, but it is, how do you communicate with one another? Do you think on your feet when something happens, hey, we've got an asteroid coming towards Mars. What are you going to do?
Sure.
I think it's really cool for kids to experience that, and they have to talk.
Now, as you two get to go more often, how familiar do you become with this? Is it something new every time? Like, how do you guys, like, what's been your experience with that?
For 4 years, I did the Mars mission, and I did know what was going to happen. So it really, after my first year of going, it was awesome to be able to prep kids for that. I knew, the kind of skills they needed, and even as something as reading off of task cards, and you know what I mean, like following step-by-step directions. And then this year we did try something new. We did a rendezvous with a comet.
Okay.
And so it was the first time, that first mission, I was not really sure what to expect. And then after that, I kind of knew what to look for, and it just helps me with assigning jobs. So before we go, kids have to be put into several groups, and not only I want them to be something they're interested in, but then we also have to put them in, okay, if it's high math, you know what I mean, like somebody who's interested in math, or if there's a lot of reading involved or whatnot.
No, Mr. Peck, how about for you? Like, what it was the being able to have that experience for the first time and preparing you for the following trips you would make with the kids?
Yeah, I think the first time none of us knew what to expect. It was my first year here, and that was the first year that we were going. And so over time, you do get used to what's happening. You build a relationship with them. I know Miss Bevans is kind of on first name basis with everybody that's there. So that is, it's awesome to have built that relationship. And now as we go, it's just kind of like we're returning back to a place we've been before. And they do a good job of really working together with the schools. The leaders there act as kind of a NASA instructor or NASA leader, and the kids buy into that. So it's just really cool to see experience kids wouldn't be able to do normally.
No question. Again, our guest in studio today, Mr. Jim Peck, is the principal for Clinton Junior High School. Haley Bevans is a 6th grade science teacher at Clinton Junior High School. Now, Mrs. Bevans, you spoke to that STEM piece, the science, technology, engineering, math. This really kind of highlights what is possible in that arena for the kids. Speak to just the explosion of STEM in the science curriculum, particularly the last, 5-10 years, and how much this is an eye-opening experience for kids in that realm.
I think sometimes when we read articles or things about STEM jobs and new jobs, and we try to tell kids that right now, several of you will have a job that has not even been created yet. Like that's real life now. And as for me as a kid, like I don't think we ever really talked about, STEM wasn't really a thing, but now it's like kids have to understand that this could be you. And on the field trip, they do such a good job at the Challenger Center telling the kids, after the challenge is over, they're like, okay, now how many of you could work at NASA? And they start to talk about how NASA doesn't just employ, the engineer, we're looking for somebody who can design the spacesuit. We're looking for teachers, the educators. We're looking for people, geologists, biologists, it's all realms of it. And I think that's really important to hit to our kids right now that, it's endless possibilities right now. And we don't have to be stuck in one thing. And it's okay to have all these different likes and interests. And we use these Science World magazines in class that talk about all these every week. It's like STEM jobs. And they're like, I didn't realize that was considered a STEM job, something different.
So we'll take a break, guys, and come back and talk about the financing component of this. We've mentioned grants and a few other things there as well. Did I miss anything though as it relates to the actual trip itself, the experience? Did you guys want to weigh in on anything we didn't get to at this point?
I don't think so. Other than it's just, we'll connect it with the money piece, like you said, but it's providing that experience for kids that they wouldn't get, here at a normal day at Clinton Junior High. And I think it's great that we're looking outside of our walls and what are those resources near us that we can utilize for our students.
No question. Well, we'll take a time out, guys, and we'll like I said, we'll hit on that financing piece next. Again, our guests in studio, Mr. Jim Peck and Haley Bevans with Clinton Junior High School in studio with us. More to come with them on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
New trucks and SUVs are here. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. Yes, we've been waiting, and now we have new inventory on our lot for you to see, with more arriving weekly. Plan your next new Chevrolet purchase. Just click on the pre-order tab. You'll see Silverados in 1500, 2500, and 3500. We have Equinoxes and Trailblazers as well. New Chevrolet inventory in stock now at Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
Your local radio stations are here for you. No subscriptions or monthly fees necessary. We're here to give you the news, weather, and traffic you need and the music you love. But if the foreign-owned record labels get their way, it could stop the music. They want Congress to force radio stations to pay them more money simply to play their music. Don't let radio go silent. Text LOCAL to 52886 and tell Congress to protect local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
This is Noah Atkinson, owner of Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs in Lincoln. Our communities thrive thanks to small businesses. That's why I'm pleased to be the exclusive sponsor of the WHOW WEZC Lincoln Printers Business of the Month.
Ed and Crystal Cecinas provide professional photography at EMC Photography, 106 West Main in Clinton, offering more than 35 years of shooting experience. Both Ed and Crystal give back by being involved in many nonprofit civic organizations, including the Clinton Chamber. They'll receive a $200 gift certificate good at Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs for being our WHOW WEZC Lincoln Printers Business of the Month. Nominate a business you'd like featured by emailing us at WHOW@RandyRadio.com.
Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs salute this local business for helping make the community grow. And when it comes to envelopes, wedding invitations, signs, banners, vinyl wraps, and more, find us online at LincolnPrintersInc.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Again, our guest in studio today, Mr. Jim Peck, is the principal of Clinton Junior High School. Mrs. Haley Bevans, a 6th grade teacher with Clinton Junior High School. And we're highlighting the Challenger program. Heartland Community College offers this, and 6th grade students make the trip up each year, and it's immersive. They're doing just about everything that someone within NASA would do on a given space mission. Mr. Peck, talk a little bit about how this is funded, how the school can do this every single year.
Right. So we are very lucky to have the CCEF, the Education Foundation, be such a big part of our district. And they're always looking for ways to help out. And about 5 years ago, actually, before that, when we started really looking at possibly doing this, they were on board and willing to help in any way possible. We put together the grant. Ms. Bevans really worked hard on that, and they've made that commitment. If you look on their site, we're one of the special projects, and so I think it's just proof of how caring this community is, and the people that have been a part of it forever want to give back. So that's been a big source of our funding every year. We also have reached out and been lucky enough to have a connection with ADM, who have helped fund part of this as well over time. So it's just, I think it's just proof that you can look outside your walls and your budget to find those ways to have some special things happen for your students.
Sure. How much did the ADM grant mean, Mrs. Bevans, to get that?
The 1 year was about $5,000 we got for the
Yeah.
so it covered several couple years of it. So
yeah.
it was nice.
Now, COVID, you mentioned to me, guys, you were able to do this, but it wasn't quite the same experience. Mrs. Bevans, break that down for us.
Yep, it was all online, so that was interesting.
Mhm.
Not the experience that we typically would get, but what an awesome thing for the Challenger Center to do that. They tried, and so we stayed at school and we all did it online. So they still completed a mission, but they more so only experienced kind of the mission control part of it rather than the space shuttle and whatnot. But
Yeah.
it was an interesting thing because we had, that was the year that kids were had to be sent home for close contacts or whatnot. And we had about 30 kids the day before the field trip day be sent home. And they were at home and we were able to work them into the simulation still. So
Yeah. Now, with 2020, were you able to get it in right before like things kind of shut down that year? Is that how that worked?
we actually went, so year 2020, we went before March. We went in February.
Mhm.
So we got to go the year of COVID because nothing had happened until March.
Mhm.
It was the year 2021 that we had to do it online.
Yeah, right.
That they weren't
Gotcha.
open yet,
Gotcha.
so.
Now, you've already done it this year, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Do you usually do it in February, or is it an outlier?
Well, it depends on Mother Nature.
Okay.
Last year we got bumped to May because of our February snow days.
Oh, that's
I
right.
think,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the first round of snow or the second, but it canceled our trip.
Mhm.
And they're so booked out and full. The best available they had was May, and it was really towards the end of the year. So it kind of became our end of the year 6th grade celebration.
Gotcha.
So I think we feel like we just went and then went again because it was so late last year.
Yeah.
But,
Well, fun still. A lot of fun. So anything else, guys, on this, whether it's the funding, whether it's the experience, whether it's the connection to STEM, did I miss anything you all want to put out there about this morning?
Just that I'm just so excited that our community backs us for it. And, we couldn't do it without the funding of it. It is a pricey thing. And we could never ask kids to bring in that type of money to be able to
Right.
go.
Mhm.
So I think it's an awesome thing that I hope to be able to continue for years to come. And
Sure. Excellent stuff. Do you piggyback your curriculum following this? I mean, do you kind of continue that momentum in the space exploration, if you will?
Yes, that's usually why I go in February, just because it's where it typically hits, where
Mhm.
I am in my space unit. So kids are very much aware and, we're in the middle of the unit, when we go.
There's
So,
some excitement there.
Yeah.
Excellent. Do you feel engagement increases in your classroom when this comes around?
Oh, yes. I pump the kids up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
make it like we are going to the moon or we are
Sweet.
going to Mars.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, Mr. Peck, let's wrap up here this morning. I've got about 3 or 4 minutes here with you. I know you mentioned standardized testing right around the corner. Just your favorite times of year, I'm sure.
Of course. Yeah, our tests are coming up. The window's opening here in March, and we're going to plan on doing our English test before spring break because we do get some flexibility as to when we want to give those. So we'll do our English test before spring break for a couple of days. We'll go on break. We'll come back. We'll be back for a couple of days, and then we'll hit our math tests with our students then.
Yeah.
So,
Now, do you still do like incentives to participate, try to do well? Like what are those look
the
like?
hard part with that is the state getting the data and results
Oh,
back to us. It does take some time. I usually don't get even non-official results back until sometime in late May or early June.
Oh, wow.
So it is very hard to give those incentives and rewards when we don't know how students did. One thing that we've really done the last couple of years is just try to acknowledge the fact that we are taking the test. I've challenged the staff this year. Just we're gonna talk about this in a positive way because if we're negative about it, the kids are going to be negative about it.
I
We
see.
want to celebrate at the end that we accomplished this because it is an accomplishment. This is not something that they do every day where they come in and have to take a test that the state is made pretty high stakes.
So you really don't want to message to them it's a drag on you and all those things. Yeah,
exactly
for
right.
sure.
We want to promote the positivity of it, and we also want to acknowledge and reward the kids at the end of, hey, you guys have accomplished something, and we go out of our way to have snacks on those days, and make sure that the kids understand that we are doing something that's important, and we keep it with that focus and hope for the best results.
Well, you did something. I don't know. Is radical the right word, Mr. Peck? You banned basically cell phones in the school building during school hours. How's that working out for you?
So the cell phone policy this year has gone off very well, and I would attribute that to a couple of different things. The buy-in from families is probably number one with that, because right when we put that out last year, not much negative feedback about it. A lot of questions and even some thank yous for doing that. And then just as important with that was the consistency from the staff in the building of making sure that as we have some of those first students that either forget their phone or they're trying to have their phone in class, that we are addressing it consistently to the point where now we're not really even thinking about it because it's not an issue that we're seeing. I know Superintendent Mr. Nettles has heard feedback from other superintendents who have said, thank you for doing this, because now we're taking the ball and kind of running with what you guys have done at the junior high. For us, I feel like it has increased engagement and has limited a lot of the drama and things that do get stirred up during the day with social media and phones. So it's been nothing but positive for us.
Mrs. Bevans, do you mind if I get your quick perspective? I don't mean to drag you into this, but do you mind if I get your quick perspective on this change and what it's looked like in your classroom?
Yeah, for sixth grade, what's awesome for sixth grade is they're young when they come in, right? And they don't know any different. And so for sixth grade, it was awesome because they weren't allowed to have phones at CES. So when they came here, it was just this is the rule of junior high, and they didn't know any other way.
I see.
I think 7th and 8th grade, it might have been a little bit more challenging just because it was different for them at their junior high experience. But for sixth graders, we've had very little issues.
That's good to hear.
It's a good thing.
Excellent. Well, I hate to do this to you guys. I know we could talk about this and much more for a lot longer, but I got to let you go. Thanks for coming in and talking with us. It was good to hear from you. Good to see you again.
Thanks, Seth.
That is Mr. Jim Peck and Mrs. Haley Bevans, Clinton Junior High, our guest. Network News on the way on the morning show.
WHOW.